This program has been made possible by the generous support of the Women's Foundation, the Ford Foundation, the McCormick Foundation, Zero Divide, the Stewart Foundation, the Nathan Cummings Foundation, and the California Endowment.
Oh boy, yeah, we yotv, we back here.
Youth culture, youth voices, youth power, coming at you.
What's happening? We yotv out here.
Before we go any further, I have to big up the magazine. Start looking.
Oh boy,
Youth Outlook, chronicle of young people's lives in the Bay Area.
Known all over the Bay and beyond.
Got a lot of good stuff for you this time. Yo!
Hey yotv, this is Jasmine A, and I'm here to introduce this episode of yotv. Now on yotv, we document youth culture everywhere, all subjects. We get fun, we get serious. On this show, we're pretty serious. We're talking about war. Now we're going to show you everybody from protesters to veterans to really gauge young people's involvement and thoughts surrounding war. Our first story is going to be a young man named Jesse who is now trying to return and get acclimated to everyday life after spending 3 years in the Marines and touring Iraq 2 times. That's up next on yotv. Check it out.
Oh, this is in Arabic. It says soldier of the Marines. When I got it, I wanted to say leatherneck. I got it translated from a Middle Eastern guy. He said it said soldier of the Marines.
From 2001 to 2004, and did 2 tours in Iraq. What else? Got out in 05, November.
Had 2 birthdays out there. And 20th birthday, I got a can of Pringles. That was a lot in the desert. And on my 21st birthday, I got to shower.
My brother, he came back from Iraq. He saved up some money, put a down payment down, and he liked this place, so he picked it, and he asked me to move in with him and split the mortgage. The mortgage is like, it's hella stupid. It's almost $3,300 a month. It's a 2-bedroom, 2-bath condominium. We're on the 2nd floor. Here it has like 2 swimming pools and a jacuzzi and a weight room, utilities and all that, like gas, garbage. It comes with, it's called like an association fee. Growing up, we always rented. Rent wasn't so much money back then because real estate, was, but we've gone from worse to average. Ever since I got this place, this has been a spot for everybody just comes and has some barbecue. I make my marinades from scratch, but if I want to get lazy, I just go buy it from Safeway and dump it on the chicken. I'm an apprentice 2 at a level 2, going on to 3 or whatever. But pretty much I can work with a journeyman. Like this is like a lot of the side jobs is word of mouth. People who don't want to go through a contractor to have their, deck rebuilt, that charges like $35 for a foot. I'll come in and do it for like whatever, I'll lowball whatever the contractor, and that gives me a side job for the weekend. I'm just doing a lot of remodeling right now, redoing kitchens and upgrading homes. There's not a lot of projects for housing construction.
I didn't want to get into law enforcement because it's kind of like the military. but a little bit less aggressive. You deal with a lot of troubled citizens rather than missions, you know. I want to become a cop because because I try to avoid it, and it's just a calling. I think I can deal with people in intense situations.
Well, I had to do a lot of adjustments financially. Like, I was gonna buy a 2006 Mercedes CLS 500, and I was gonna do it in January, but I couldn't do it. It would I would have had to been fighting to make monthly payments on the car, insurance and mortgage and association fees. I could have done it, anything's possible, but I wouldn't be right here, right now. I'd be at my second job right now, you know.
All right, we're going to have a break, but make sure you stay tuned and keep watching YoTV.
Yo TV. What up? You dig? What you think? This is Yo TV, and we document anything and everything that goes on in the Bay Area. Yeah.
So for this story, Yo went to Southern California where we spoke to a Cal State Fullerton student who's also a veteran who served in the Iraq War, and he's going to tell what his experience was like in Iraq, but most importantly, what it was like having to have his feet amputated after a mine explosion. That's up next on YoTV.
My tank was hit by an IED, which is an improvised explosive device. Where the blast went off was pretty much where I was at that point. I found my head pushed back away from the site. I was kind of pushed back into my seat. I tried to stand up, and that was unsuccessful.
That would be Chang Wong's last attempt at standing on his own 2 feet. He was pulled from the wrecked tank and choppered to the Balad Air Base Hospital, just north of Baghdad. There, Chang Wong's feet, ankles, and calves were amputated just below his knees. The power of the blast had also caused both of his lungs to collapse, and he had lost a massive amount of blood. He spent the next 3 weeks at Regensburg University Hospital in Germany, where beneath the fog of a medically induced coma, Chang was naturalized as a U.S. citizen. The ceremony was both a proud moment and a terrifying experience for Chang's parents, who had been flown in by the military to be with their son. His mother and father, immigrants from Malaysia, moved to the LA suburb of Alhambra when Chang was 2 years old. Like many immigrants, they arrived with the hope that life and work in America would pave the road to higher education for their children. Both were caught off guard when 19-year-old Chang announced that he had enlisted in the U.S. Army.
I guess it's a culture thing. Chinese people or Asian people in general, they're really focused in school because they want to focus on their career, and being in the military doesn't really look that attractive, I guess.
There's a general belief that persists in the United States that says Asian Americans don't join the military, citing the importance of education, as Chang did, or compulsory military duty in the country from where they came from, as reasons that they don't. But the fact is, 15% of all new military recruits in Los Angeles County, like Chang, are Asian American. And as for Chang's parents, what shocked them wasn't simply their son's decision to join the armed services. It was when he told them.
Actually, my family did not know I signed up for the service until that very day I shipped out. When that day came, I just said, bye mom, bye dad.
At first I'm furious. First of all, he joined himself with several guys voluntarily without our notice. Then if I deem it deeper, it is good that for him to train himself in the army and also for the countries.
With his father's blessing and his mother in tears, Cheng set off for basic training in Fort Knox, Kentucky. It was less than a month before 9/11, and the next time Cheng would see his family would be from a hospital bed in Texas 4 years later. It was late June of 2005 when Wong was transferred from Germany to Fort Sam Houston in San Antonio. Heavily sedated, Cheng opened his eyes to his injuries, and the reality of being a 23-year-old wounded war veteran began to set in.
I thought I was in a dream. I was dreaming. In my mind, I knew what was going to happen, and it happened. So I figured maybe everything a dream, and I needed to wake up. I also suffered post-traumatic stress syndrome. I had a hard time falling asleep. I was also scared to fall asleep because if I fell asleep, I might not wake up.
As the weeks passed, Cheng's mother watched by his bedside as her son slipped deeper into depression.
He feels bad and sad, so he doesn't want to drink, he doesn't want to eat. Then I keep talking to him, I try everything, but he still don't want to eat, and I really want to cry.
I asked my mom if she would just leave me, kind of head back to California, and she wouldn't. So I tried to convince my friend to convince my mom, but that also didn't work out well.
As the cloud of denial thickened around her broken son, Cheng's constant refusals of her support finally pushed Liu to the edge.
She uncapped the bottled water and she tried to pour water into my mouth. I just kept my mouth closed. I remember the water kind of trickling down the side of my cheeks, and that's when my mom pretty much lost it. She threw the bottled water, and then she gave me a slap right across the face. I felt the pain, and that kind of woke me up. It brought me back to reality. This is something that I have to accept, that everything did happen, and that I needed to move on. And for the next 30 minutes to an hour, me and my mom cried. That was pretty much the start of my recovery.
Born in Malaysia, raised in LA, served in Iraq, Cheng Wong was now confronted with the reality of walking and living with prosthetic legs.
I went back and forth. I fell back in denial for a little bit, but then I would pick right back up and then just, accept and kind of push myself to recover.
4 years after the blast, Cheng Wong, like many veterans, blends in with the Los Angeles around him, most of the time. And when he doesn't, he questions how those he served perceive him.
Well, if you look at me, would you ever think that I was in the military? Or would you think I'm just like a normal, typical Chinese person who's in school and studying and stuff like that? That's a question for you.
All right, so up next on yotv, we want to get a feel into why young people join the armed forces. Anywhere from resources, education, to wanting to serve and protect, this is why these young people have chose to join the armed forces. That's up next on yotv.
I joined the Army so I could book it up.
Then I got moved to being an RTO, which is a radio guy. Those are the first ones to get shot at.
I came from a single mom raising 3 boys, and I needed money for college.
So what the hell, why not join the Marines?
My name is Josh, I'm 22, and I'm from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Jeremy County, I'm 22, and where's it from? San Francisco.
I was 19 years old when I just got it when I first joined the Army.
Joined the Army because we're one of the few families in America that has had a member in the service all the way back to the American Revolution. So I looked at my cousin, and I looked at my brother, and then I looked at myself, and we're the only males in our family, so I was like, well, I guess I better bite the bullet.
I'm a mortarman, series 11 Charlie. It's still 11 series, so I'm still infantry, but I'm specialized in indirect fire capabilities.
I'm originally in infantry, but then I got moved to being an RTO, which is a radio guy. Those are the first ones to get shot at, which is the antenna. So I get to carry around the thing called the shoot me stick.
It's like you live with 1,000 guys and you get to know them. In the civilian world, you meet someone here, you meet someone there, you go out for coffee. But when you live with someone, you don't really know anybody until you live with them, like a roommate or anything like that.
My name's Jesse, first name Denvire. I'm from San Francisco, born and raised.
My name's Gabriel Alves, I'm from San Francisco, 19. Graduated from Archbishop Reardon High School in 2004. Joined the Marines.
Well, one of my minor reasons of joining the armed forces was college. Now I have a GI Bill on my belt. 4 years ago, when I signed up, it was like $25,000, and they keep upgrading it.
I was going to college and just to please everyone. Didn't really like being there. Didn't really get anything out of it. Didn't really have any direction. I knew I wanted to get into law enforcement later.
What kind of law enforcement?
CHP, probably. But you can't join that till you're 21, so it was kind of a void spot for the next 3 years, so I figured, what the hell, why not join the Marines?
My older brother, I think he's 24. He is in Baghdad right now, in the Army. He joined it while he was in high school. He was 17 years old. The recruiters, they were real nice. They came over to the house. They invited us to barbecues and stuff. My vote would be keep recruiters in school. Keep all career opportunists and companies. Anybody who owns a business, send them to the schools. Send everybody to the schools.
Make a good resume for me. I mean, if I'm the Marines, there's no way I'm not going to get in the CHP.
We're going to go to a break, but stay tuned because we have more stories about war and peace coming up later.
I'm in motion. 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 I'm in motion.
Alright, so this next story is one of my personal favorites where we were at a protest and caught up with this young man who has the answer to war and to ending war and to making sure there's never war again. Peace. He's pleading with us and telling us that we have to have peace. It's really cute and you'll enjoy it. That's up next on YoTV.
A little bit louder. We want justice for the third world.
Give it up for the youth. There's a lot of youth out here.
My name is Gage Morris. I'm out here talking about the war, trying to get people to stop because these people, they don't even realize it. It's a false reality. These people, they're bombing people all over the street, like in Iraq.
We must bring this war to a halt.
They're killing people every day. And you know what? They're killing people for oil and stupid stuff like that. I don't know. We're killing each other. We're like brothers and sisters. We gotta stop it.
Why does this continue? Why does this dehumanization continue? This is
pull out, but they're still there.
Do you guys want to kill and die for Bush? Do you guys want to kill?
Well, Bush could be different. He just needs to change. We gotta make this place. We gotta make it where we're brothers and sisters who can't just keep separated. Bush needs to learn that we need to just stick together. We can't always put ourselves down and hate each other, because it ain't just about you. It's about God and everyone else.
No, we will not kill and die for a lie, and that we can go around the world killing and murdering 1 million Iraqis now. We do not think that American lives are worth more than Iraqi lives.
This ain't the only thing. It's hard to believe. Look, there's a bunch of things. I can't get into all of it because it'd probably take like 9 days just to mention it all, but it's just intense. You need to learn these things, do research, whatever it takes.
It is not enough to be against the war. It is not enough to have your opinion. It is not enough to yell at your TV screen when George Bush comes on.
The government, we just need to stop and take down the government, because the government's just, they give us that false reality I was mentioning.
And without the fresh blood, without the youth, and without the mind control that they have, without that they can't fight this war.
I think that we need to save the world.
Go back wherever you came from, and you should start a movement.
I wrote some books. I put up some flyers and hanged up some signs. I almost got in trouble for that, but we gotta do whatever it takes to keep this planet alive, because we don't want humans to go extinct.
Okay, we're gonna go to a commercial break, but stay tuned, because after the break, we're gonna have our vlog. Youth Outlook documents current events and issues going on in your community. For more information, go to youthoutlook.org. Alright, so it's time for our vlog. On this vlog, it's me and Yo's, Erica X, and we're going to be talking about the Henry Louis Gates Jr. fiasco, and we're going to pontificate about what we think about that case, as well as racial profiling and some other stuff. So that's up next on YoTV. Hey, Yo Blogger. This is Jasmine A.
This is Erica X.
And we're back. We've been stunted.
We've had vlogitis, if you will.
And that's because some of the stories in the news have been, cool, but we've been feeling kind of meh. We're not feeling it. But we can't deny it anymore. The big story in the news, especially because, we like to talk about blackness, people, is what's going on with the professor, the scholar, the elder, Henry Louis Gates Jr.
Yeah.
And as you know, he was arrested in his home for apparently breaking in his own home.
For being black.
It could have been a common misunderstanding, at least between the police and him, because the police got a phone call from a concerned neighbor saying someone could or could not be breaking into this home. They might be Hispanic. That's all I know.
How can you possibly be Hispanic? I like how she said that.
He could
possibly be. Why would you mention?
He's not one of us, is what she meant.
Right.
He's not. These people aren't white. They're colored. And then they see that it's this elderly black man who obviously lives in this house. So then when it gets to the point that they arrested him and took him out of the house, that's when it became, why was that called for?
Right. That's when the proverbial ish hit the fan. All the niceties and the explanations aside, like point blank, this woman called the police because she saw a black man and a quasi-Hispanic man struggling trying to get into a house. And I like how, like, in the actual tape where she's talking to 911, she inadvertently doesn't mention the fact that she saw the first man go into the house. But I know you saw the first man go into the house. Don't even front like you did. You just didn't want to sound like a racist and be like, oh, there's a black man breaking into a house. So you pinned it on the quasi-Hispanic man.
Why we've been kind of apprehensive to vlog on this is because the story is kind of typical, If it hadn't been, Henry Louis Gates Jr.,
PBS
who's one of the
extraordinaire.
foremost scholars on African American history as well as ethnic studies in general. You know, if this had just been a common misunderstanding with some random black person, you know, I'm always down for the random people. You know, it would have just been just one of those things. But it's getting to the point where it's gotten all the way up to the president, and he said that the police acted stupidly, and then the police
And what
are
was
like,
wrong with that?
you know, take it back, Obama.
And if this can happen to him, it can happen to anyone. But we as black folks, we're going to let you in on a little black people secret. We kind of already knew that. That's why this story to us kind of has a meh factor.
The woman who made the call, obviously she was calling, she was concerned, and she's, you know, came out because she's mad that people are calling her a racist and saying she was racially profiling. You're just, you know, not being racist is an active job as a white person. It's not that
passive.
you can't just not be racist. You have to actively consider white privilege and other people's perspectives.
And I like how she tried to shift the blame onto the elderly woman who is the one who supposedly told her that this whole scene of shenanigan was going on. I think there was no elderly woman. I think you made the elderly woman up in your mind.
She kept saying throughout the call,
she continued
they
to
could
say,
live there.
Right.
I might be totally wrong. This person could live. I could be mistakenly calling the police
so doesn't
on
that
a
make
black
you just
person.
a little bit possibly potentially crazy? Or at the least neurotic?
You don't mistakenly call the police on people of color, lady. Okay? That's not a mistake. Because that means you're not concerned with the way people of color encounter police. It's different. It's usually not just a, hey, sorry about this misunderstanding. No.
Right. Pat on the back and then into the house you go. No, it's a pat on the shoulder and into the paddy wagon you go. If you don't get your black ass beat. The thing to learn today, white people out there who may be watching this, which is probably like 0.2% of our black, you know, population in the blogosphere.
Response.
So maybe some young white woman who wrote that Disney vlog, we see you. We know what you're up to. And yes, you are a racist. But white people, for real. Now it's time. Last vlog was step your game up, black people. Now it's step your game up, white people. If you see something that looks suspicious, call a black person and tell the black person to call the police. Okay?
And maybe they'll give you some advice and tell you stay your right side out of it.
You better hang
or
up
maybe
the
they'll
phone.
say, I'll do it. Because I don't want you to get mixed up in this. Because you're a good white person. And you could get misconstrued as a racist.
You don't want that.
Okay?
This is us.
So
in the black vlogosphere.
That's what we got to say about that. Alright, YoTV, that's all we have for this episode, but make sure to visit our website, www.youthoutlook.org, where you can find more stories, more voices, anything we do, that's where you can find it. And also, make sure to stay tuned and check us out next time for YoTV. Thanks. To veterans. In our first, I don't even know what our first story is. Talk about war and really cover this, you can't cover anything. For our next movie, Henry Louis Gates Jr. in his house arrest. He's on a house arrest. Okay.